Del Rio, Texas. Rob Wade and Robert Garza. Two guys who dive. This episode of Two Guys Who Dive, recorded live Saturday, 27 April 2013, episode 64, new and improved. Welcome to another episode of Two Guys Who Dive, and I am your host, Rob Wade, and I'm here with...
I got no sound. Oh, wow.
I'll bet you do in a second.
I can hear myself. There we go. All right.
We've got phantom power now.
I'll tell you, the gremlins are attacking the new system.
No, and that's not even the new system. But I just got so tickled because I got so excited doing the voiceover that I just blew right through that. I was like, okay, I got to stretch that out to make it fit the background music there. So
that's right.
Yep, title of the episode today is New and Improved because I got a brand new computer running as the main workstation here, an i7. I'll go into a little bit more details about it here in just a second, but making a big difference. So hopefully we'll see some much better recordings as well as better streaming and all that stuff. I think the only thing that could make it better is if I was to get a much faster internet connection.
Yeah. Well, aside from going directly T3 directly to your house, yeah. I mean, I don't see it.
Well, if Verizon would ever get the FiOS going,
oh my
here,
gosh, no
awesome.
kidding! I mean, I'd fiber optic directly to your house, guys. If that's what it is.
That is definitely awesome. So we missed you.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back from my exile tour.
Your exile. So how'd it go? Everything went all right?
Everything went well. For those of you that didn't know, I had some stuff going on lately, and
all good stuff.
Very good stuff. Things that I never ever would have thought that I would be involved in.
Yeah. When you look back and you see yourself and you're looking, okay, when I see myself at this age, I would not have guessed.
Yeah, exactly. And for those of you that know me, I've never been a church goer per se, but went to a retreat back in November, and it's kind of changed me a little bit. Can't say it's changed me totally, but it's changed me a little bit. But yeah, so been kind of busy with that. So doing good. So I had a lot of things going on, so I wasn't able to attend the couple of the episodes. So I apologize for my absence, but I am back now in full force.
Although you're running a little bit late today. What was the deal there?
Oh, well, I was coming. I live on South Del Rio, and just as I was coming to the tracks to come over here, the hands dropped right in front of me.
Ding, 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 ding,
yeah,
ding,
and then
ding.
It wasn't just one train. It was two. They were going real slow, crossing each other.
Oh, because the engineers were doing high fives as they were passed each other.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
The transits were jumping trains because
they're going our way.
They're going
taking
our
the
way.
north side. All right.
So I had to come all the way around, but luckily the lights were just,
Bookity.
Yeah, just opening. Like they were perfect. As soon as I was driving up to them, they were turning green. So I got here a lot faster. So that's why I called you.
But you also had some sort of training going on. This is why.
Yeah. I couldn't go on a dive with you. And I received your text when I was at training. I was at the sheriff's office.
I was very pouty after that.
It was a last minute training that had come up, so I had to attend that. So I was at the sheriff's office for a while doing training.
Oh, okay, cool. And that went well, I take it.
Or
was it one of those things like I got to do it, but man, I really don't need to do it?
Exactly. I couldn't put it any other. I mean, I couldn't say it better.
Yep.
Yeah. So guys, if you're
looking have that all in the military too.
That's right. So if you're looking at your TV screen or your computer right now and it looks fuzzy, put your 3D glasses on because we are in high def, baby.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna be up close. Matter of fact, we could with these cameras that we could zoom in and just look right up your nostril and count the nose hairs. Wouldn't be fun to do, but we can do it.
There you go.
So
how are things going for you?
It's been an interesting week. You know, we're kind of at the base, we're just like at just about every government agency, is kind of not quite in a standstill, but acting like waiting for the sword of Damocles to fall. It's hanging. You wake up, you see it hanging there, because they're like, okay, when are we going to do the furloughs?
Yeah.
Because everybody's got that on their mind, and everybody's kind of in a pause status, and there's no overtime, so that puts a challenge to a number of things. And then, oh, by the way, we had a wing change of command, so we got a new wing commander, Colonel Hastings. If you happen to catch the podcast, if the word's gotten out, and if you happen to be a diver, I probably need to ask him about that. Welcome to Laughlin. Welcome to Del Rio. Glad to have you here. I think, hopefully, you will find that just like your predecessor, Colonel Murphy, Del Rio is definitely a place to fall in love with.
Yeah.
The Murphys were definitely sad to go. They kind of planned to semi-homestead here. They thought they would do the extended tour. But, when you're as good as he was, you get noticed, and they pluck you and take you somewhere else.
Where they need help.
Yeah. or to where you're no longer as good a help as you were. Everybody has their perfect stride, And I think he was definitely the right commander at the time here. So, Colonel Murphy, going to miss you. And Carly, your wife, as well. Definitely movers and shakers around here. So, I'm excited to have the new gear. Had lots of Christmas way early for me. I finally got the new machine, just to share with some of you who might be tech heads out there. Just share a few of the specs we've got. Got the an Intel i7. I think I've mentioned a number of times that the folks that developed the XSplit software, visit them at xsplit.com. They recommended at least an i5, but really to get what you want to do with the software, an i7. So I got an Intel Core i7 3770 computer with 12 gig of RAM. I just can't see running out of that. 2 terabyte hard drive.
Awesome.
Yeah, lots of space. Although I probably down the road I'll look at it because the prices are dropping dramatically on solid state drives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I will probably get one of those and migrate my boot, the operating system and some of the main software onto it, because it'll just come up that much faster and run that much faster. But for right now, this is perfect. It's got 6 USB 2.0 ports and 4 USB 3.
Okay.
So these 3 cameras are running off of 3 of those USB 3 ports, so maximizing that. Let's see. It did come with a NVIDIA GT630 card, which is it's a newer card than the one I had before, but it's not nearly as powerful.
Oh.
So I swapped those out, and that really created kind of a little bit of a challenge for me, because the motherboard on this machine was pre-set up with that EFI configuration.
Right.
So when and I'd read about that, some issues with if you want to change out the video card, you have to disable that feature.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, when you stick another card in, especially if it's considered a quote-unquote legacy card, it won't interrupt the video.
Yeah.
So you get no video. So I did the little trickery, the little chicanery there, and tricked it. And so I put my older GTX 460 card, and I love it in there. And then also on top of that, I've just had a cascade of all sorts of things. Our primary server that had my domain controller was also doing the websites, mm-hmm. and also was our main file server for music and videos and pictures and our humongous picture library. The system board.
Oh, crashed?
Yeah, well, it was starting to fail. It would sometimes not see the hard drive, and then sometimes it would boot up fine and it'd be running and then just freeze. And then I'd reboot it and it'd be running fine, and then suddenly get memory errors. And then other times it would say that it couldn't find the NTOS kernel. So I was like, well, it's definitely not the hard drive. I got it to run long enough to do the serious hard drive tests, and it passed. but then you would have all these errors. I'm like, okay. So ended up having to retire that machine, pulled the hard drive off of it because it was still good, so I could take all of the stuff that we wanted to save off of it, and I put it on the old workstation, which it is now over here as my testing machine.
Okay.
And once I made sure that everything, because I knew that machine still rocked, it's still a good machine, it just underpowered for this function. And so I did a file check, since I could trust the processor and memory on it. I checked all the software and everything on the hard drive. And then I took the old testing machine and configured it. Everything's running Windows 8. Configured it, optimized as a home server. It was on Paul Thurrot's website, winsupersite.com, and he was talking about how he's used a number of the versions of Windows Home Server. With the last one that they did was 2011. They stopped after that. But interestingly, a number of the features plus some really cool stuff they've actually put in Windows 8 so you can run it up as a home server. So I'm like, okay, well, let me see how he's got it configured to operate as a home server, and it actually works very well.
Wow.
So I get the benefits of being able to throw apps and stuff on there if I want to, but it does it's very easy to share media on the Windows 8 machine. Much easier than even it was on Windows 7. I think that's because they did roll in a number of the Windows Home Server stuff. So that is now our primary server. Now, I've said all of that to say that means that the server that was actual Windows Server 2003 is no longer up. So our website, both the SETIFox.net and Del Rio Dive Club websites, are not up yet. So what I've decided to do, rather than spin up another server, and I'm just not prepared to spend a couple $1,000s on a new version of Windows server. Yeah. It's just cheaper to set it up and do just find a hosting site. So I found a good Christian-based hosting site. So I've already set things up, and now I'm getting ready to kind of teach myself.
Oh, wow, cool.
It's so easy on your own server because you just load the files up and they're there.
Right, and they're there.
Now I have to do all the FTP and the control panel stuff, so I got to kind of spin myself. So fear not, the website will be back up and running. Can't say exactly when. I would like to say within the next week, but my time is like this small. So with all the other challenges and things I got going, so... but fear not, we will have the website back up. In the meantime, you can always check us out on Del Rio on Facebook, Del Rio Dive Club, Facebook/Del Rio Dive Club, and find out what's going on, ask questions, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So next on the agenda, Windows 8. Speaking of Windows 8, despite the naysayers, has advanced to 5% of the desktops, even though people are still saying, it doesn't have this and it sucks and all that stuff. And there are definitely some shortcomings. And all the things that I've seen with the Windows Blue update that's, I guess, going to show up around June, really does a lot to fix a number of the issues that people were complaining about. Some of the things I really like is that they're giving you more options as far as how you can split the screen.
Oh, okay.
Right now, you got the 1/3, 2/3 thing, which it works out fine. I use it fine. I'm so used to it. But there's the guy who had one of the leaked alphas showed how he had it actually split up to 8 splits across 2 monitors.
Oh, that's cool.
And so there's a lot more. In other words, there's a lot more versatility in how you can break it out, and no longer when you click on the desktop does it. If you got dual monitors, it doesn't throw both monitors to desktop mode. So you could have one screen running your Metro apps and stuff, and another screen in desktop mode. Like, that's beautiful. That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. So there's a number of other updates if you're really interested to see what they're going to do with it. If you're on the fence, there's a number of sites that you can check out. winbeta.org is a great website to see. Matter of fact, he's been showing a lot of the videos of what's been leaking. Wow. Paul Thurrott has too, but But in spite of everybody saying, oh, it's the decline of the PC, and it's all because of Windows 8. Well, actually, Windows 8 has been growing in spite of PCs dropping. And it's really because of the tech heads are not liking it, and some of your business users are saying they don't like it, really because I think they just don't get how to use it. And I get how to use it because I'm using it in a production environment. But the cool factor is really starting to grow. I see a lot of kids are like, they like the way it looks and the way it operates, especially since it moves very well between desktop and
from what I've been
tablets.
gathering, a lot of the computers manufacturers like Dell and some of the other ones are now, most of the systems that they're starting to sell, because they're incorporating Windows, are using touch-based screens.
Even on the notebooks.
Right. The notebooks now are touchscreen notebooks. Of course, you can still use all the functions and stuff like that as far as the mouse and everything else, but they're coming pretty much now standard with touch screens. You go and you buy a desktop, and you up a little bit on the bucks, but you can get a touch screen monitor. So I mean, and that's exactly what it's designed for. It's a lot easier. So I'm thinking, since most of the computer manufacturers now are offering that as standard equipment,
it's kind of like Power Windows.
Exactly. It's exactly. They're starting to upgrade their systems to this and not charging an arm and a leg for it. People are starting to become a little more receptive, like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to like it because it is designed for that. They took an operating system and made just one giant one to where it can work
either way
with, since we're going more on the tablet mode now. They're trying to, so everything works in Unity, or what's the other word for that? When everything works together. There with that $20 word. Anyway,
consistency. It's an ecosystem. It's a solid ecosystem.
It just works. Okay,
it works.
Enough said.
So, and what really shocked me and a number of other people, even the other enthusiasts, is that it's actually grabbed 7.5% of the tablets, which is not a huge number, but given, and I'm on the list of people who have really kind of said Surface, well, it's a great looking machine, and it really paints, it sets the right platform for a tablet, a Windows 8 tablet. 4-hour battery life. I'm sorry, and the RT really has really not taken off the way they thought. But because there are other companies, Acer, Asus, and of course Samsung, who have been coming out with the Windows 8 tablets, it surprisingly has gotten that far in this time. So 7.5%. Now, obviously, iPads and Android ones are still eating most of that market. As a matter of fact, interestingly, iPad's market share for tablets obviously has been slowly dropping. It was at 63%, now it's down at 48% because I think the market is being flooded with the Android. Right. Just like happened with the smartphones.
And if you've noticed, most of the Apple iPads and the iPad minis have dropped in price because for anticipation that they're going to come out with their new one. And just like I had told you, which way was I thinking that Apple was going to go?
Right.
Everything that I've been reading is they're trying to redesign. Of course, the iPad I think it's designed perfect.
Yeah.
But it was the operating system that I think needed to be, revamped, changed.
Right.
Kind of the way that Apple did with their little tiles and everything else. That was really neat. And that's the way that I've been reading they're going, that they're going to try to reinvent the OS, the iOS.
And I've heard that too. I guess version 7 will be the first.
Right, and they're trying to anticipate, like, something like tiles. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen any of the actual leaks of the pictures.
It's supposed they're trying to say that it's kind of like a knockoff off of the Windows 8 because they're using like tiles instead of like the little icons or whatever. Right. They're using tiles, and
they've got to be careful that they don't anger their substantial current user base.
Right.
Because Microsoft took a huge chance, and obviously they've angered
taken a
quite
hit.
a few
Yeah.
of the what so-called power users. I'm like, if you're such a power user, how are you not able to adapt? You know, I've already seen how I can utilize this, and I'm so anxious to get one of the release previews. I will update this machine to a release preview of
The blue,
because there are so many things leaked. If you go to winbeta.org, if you're just curious at all to see what's coming, all these things that even I have said, I wish they had done that better. I wish they'd done this a little differently. They're starting to roll with those things. I think this was all the stuff that wasn't ready for prime time.
I don't know. My buddy John C. Dvorak just disagrees with that.
John C. Ignore that. Yeah.
John C. We were having coffee at River City Donuts the other day, and he
looks like he eats there regularly.
And he was just telling me
right.
that Windows just ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, right. No, I think with all the stuff there, especially that they're adding for the enterprise, I think they're gonna finally do it. We've already been told at the base to get ready. You know, they're pushing all these hardware upgrades because they said, you know, the older stuff that we have, they want to make sure that there is nothing that holds them back from being able to jump on Windows 8.
You know, I think if I had to do something, you know how kind of like you have the Apple OS Lion or whatever it's called, Mountain Lion or whatever. But they only have like one version. They don't have the Pro version or anything else. I wish Microsoft would do something like that. You know how you have Windows 8 and then you have the Windows 8 Enterprise or whatever.
You actually have, I think, 4 SKUs. You have the Windows 8, then you have Windows 8 Pro, then you have Windows 8 Enterprise, and there's one other one I saw. Well, it's RT.
Yeah. Okay. They should just make just the one and just run it across.
I agree, because that makes it simpler to to administer. As a matter of fact, I've noticed that most of your computers, when you buy them off the shelf, are not coming with the Pro. And the Pro gives you a number of the like BitLocker, a number
administrative things, tools.
Yeah, as well as doesn't have the media center and some of those other things. So really, you're kind of at a disadvantage if you don't just turn around and immediately upgrade to Pro.
For somebody like you and I mean, I do pay the extra $1 to get it pre-installed. Like most of my machines are Dell.
Right.
You know, well, you got to pay an extra $75 to get the Pro. That's fine for me because it's got things that we use as techs.
Yep. You're right.
And you know, I've always done it. All my machines, when they were running Windows XP, it was Windows XP Professional.
Yeah.
And then Windows, with my Windows 7, it was when it was Vista, I had the Ultimate.
Yeah.
I know there was the Vista Pro, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I upgraded and I got the
Ultimate.
The Ultimate. And that one was pretty cool. And that one runs great on Sandy's laptop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one, when I got that one.
How old was her machine?
Her machine right now is about 3 years old, and it's still running Vista. It still runs great.
Wow. And most people just really pan Vista. But thing is, by the time they got the last service pack, it actually smoothed out nicely.
It's working great. I mean, she doesn't have any problem with it. She can play all her games on it and everything.
Okay, what's the big game that she plays on it?
She plays some casino game off of Facebook. You know,
she's not one of those.
She's a casino
I hate those
freak.
Games on Facebook.
Yeah, she's a casino freak. What can I say?
Yeah.
But well, and then when it first started, it was the Farmville. She was like,
"Oh,
tell me to go."
I ban, block. I stop all that stuff.
She had tell me to I don't know, like go harvest her crops or something.
Like harvest your own crops. They're not even real crops. I don't see any suspenders on you.
But anyway, her machine is running great. But I just wish Microsoft would do just one operating system across the board.
What would be great is if they made one, and then when you did the install, it gave you like a very simple Metro-like option. Here's your option. Are you a basic user? Do you just want to do these basic functions? Yep. Then you choose this first one. if you choose Pro if you need some of the, want to do a lot of home sharing type stuff, a little bit more security. You want to do a lot of like Movie Maker, which they're calling it something else now. Movie Moments, I think. In blue, they're calling it Movie Moments. A lot of this multimedia stuff, more power user type stuff. Then choose Pro. Are you installing this on a network? Then you choose the enterprise.
Right.
It seemed like it'd be easy, and it's all there. One system. It's just it chooses how much to actually throw on your hard drive.
Exactly, because the bigger the material, or should I say the tools that you're implementing,
right,
they're going to take up space on the drive. So if you don't plan on using that, like if you're a college student and you're just using it for papers or surfing the web, like as a web,
then the basic one is going to
be fine. Basic one is going to be fine, but just sell one version, and this way you have the option to set it up,
and you just install.
Set it up this way.
That's kind of like how Office, although they had different, like home, small home office, all that stuff. But even when you bought the Pro version, you could choose which elements to install. Why not make it that way? That's what makes sense.
Yep.
So
we should write Microsoft.
You know what? That's right. I need to. I've been threatening to get in debates with Paul Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley over a lot of this stuff.
Hey, and what is this I see on the USA Today? I read on one of the tech blogs.
You read that, Rag?
Yeah, and it's actually pretty good. It's pretty accurate. I read on one of the tech blogs that they're looking at ousting Microsoft CEO. What have you, Ballmer?
Well, that's been one of those things that kind of keeps coming up every so often. But, I personally don't care for him as a CEO. But Paul Thurrott has actually talked a number of different times about, once more, the saber rattling is they're wanting to get rid of him. I don't know. At this point, I'm at a loss for who would make sense to step into it. Personally, I really like Joe Belfiore, who is he's over the Windows Phone stuff. But I love his approach. He's a younger guy. He has a great approach to things. He's excited. He's a prolific Twitter poster. But...
Twitter
poster, Twitter tweeter. He's prolific there.
He tweets,
but I don't know. I do too a lot, but I don't know that he's broad enough minded as far as the whole ecosystem to step into that role. I don't know who else would be it. I've just seen that Steve Ballmer is just a goofball. He's embarrassing to see show up. He's like what's his face playing Frankenstein from Young Frankenstein.
Oh, Gene Wilder?
No,
what was his?
The monster.
Oh, the monster, the guy with the twist.
That's who I see. Somebody, matter of fact, on one of the This Week in Windows Weekly, I think they entitled it Uncle Fester on steroids.
Uncle Fester on steroids.
And I think that's pretty much fair.
And I also read another article where I guess they're having some kind of deal to raise money. I did not remember reading about what the money was for, but it was to like you were bidding to have coffee with Tim Cook.
Oh, I saw.
Did you see that?
I kind of blew my throat. I was like, I saw it scrolling up as I'm moving through other news. I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, the highest bid is $250,000. You know what?
The only thing I can think of, I'd have to read it, but I'll bet you it's for some sort of charity.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I'm thinking, okay, $250,000. The charity one better be good, and two, he better have a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
and
none of this.
Well,
I can't talk about that. There'll be like talking to Stephen Elop from Nokia. It's like, well, let me show this. I can't talk about that. Well, I'm not gonna. I don't have any news for something that hasn't been announced yet. I'm like, no.
I better get
for $250,000.
I better get the insight on everything.
That's right.
And you know what? I better leave there with a demo.
That's it. That's what I was gonna say.
I better leave there with
I want to get an alpha or beta unit. That's what I want.
Of the new iPhone 18.
That's right. It's gonna be really long.
It's not gonna exist. It's a chip that they're gonna implant in my head.
That's it.
Yeah.
I did notice that Apple, because their stock is it's dropped dramatically, but it's plateaued. It's kind of plateaued right now. I think because everybody's waiting to see what
they're going to
next.
come out with. Yeah,
but they're buying back a lot of stock.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're trying to drive the stock price back up. They happen to be talking about it on the various business shows this morning.
Well, it was the same thing. There was a big hype about Dell going private again.
Dell is Dell and Apple are, but Dell is trying to go private. Apple's just buying a bunch of stock, I think, to bump up their stock.
Well, what happened was Michael Dell was trying to buy all this. He got different investors so he can buy back all of the stock, and I own some of that. So I better see a check. But what happened was he had already done it, but then all of a sudden, out of the woodwork, 3 or 4 other people said, you know what? We want to own it.
I saw Microsoft was on that list too.
Everybody's jumping in on that one. So now it's going to cost him more money to take back his own company. So I don't know, because all of a sudden it just fell off.
It's kind of cruel, you know. It's like, I want to go private again, buy back my stock, and then everybody starts jumping the price up.
Exactly. Everybody's jumping the price, so it's costing him more money.
That's not right. That's
just not right. Let the guy buy back his company and see where he goes.
Yeah, I would like somehow, if there's a way to just freeze the stock price and then just buy it at that.
Yeah.
You know.
But I haven't seen anything anymore of any of that. So, yes, we do follow the tech.
Yeah, just a tad. And speaking of that, there was a recent survey that I'm going to put up on the screen here.
I see that propaganda.
There we go. Well, it was an independent survey, but evidently Nokia, of course, they've got a number of devices out there. They're very prolific. They're prolific now, like Samsung is. Well, not quite as prolific as Samsung, but they're working on it because they've got them on They've got them from every. Matter of fact, they've got one now that is you can buy off contract for $180.
Yeah.
But Nokia's satisfaction, on average, across the major carriers in the U.S., 21% higher satisfaction rate. They're not in Sprint at all because they don't have a device in Sprint, although one is supposedly going to be announced. I'm not sure which one, probably the 521. But I was surprised to see how the breakout looks. But Nokia has done very well, considering they were like Apple at one point where when they were changing horses in midstream and just about to lose it, because everybody had the Symbian feature phones Symbian feature phones. And so everybody was like, you're going to go with Windows Phone and not Android. Thing is, if they had gone Android, I think that would have been the biggest mistake, because they would just be another Android phone.
Yeah.
And Samsung has got that bottled up. There isn't anybody that can touch them on the Android devices.
No, they pretty much saw that and they ran with it, and they flooded the market with devices.
Yep.
So that's why they own the biggest share in the marketplace with that. I don't know. I was kind of looking at that, and I know the Apple devices. I was quite surprised to see it finally hit T-Mobile.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of people are happy.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are happy about that.
Yeah,
the phone works great. I do have my hang-ups with mine.
Wait a minute, I thought you were on AT&T.
No, I am AT&T.
Oh, okay.
But that's the thing, though. Where we live, you need, in order for these phones to fully function like to their
LTE.
Yeah, we need to have better service. I mean,
yes.
When here, I occasionally have to reboot my phone, turn it off, turn it back on, because I'm getting, network errors, or I'm getting different things. But it's because of the towers and whatnot. When you go to San Antonio, that's when you truly see your phone come to life. I love
going to San Antonio just for the LTE.
Yeah, you know what? If you have one of these high-end phones like a Galaxy S3, the Nokia Windows phone, or an Apple phone, or whatever it is, but if you paid high dollar for your phone and it's one of these newer devices, you go to San Antonio and you're really going to see what your phone can do.
Yep.
We need a network like that everywhere.
Absolutely. Did you happen to get that little email from AT&T bragging about how they're expanding their LTE? That they listed a number of, basically they're all around us, but not here yet.
They'll get it in Eagle Pass before we get it here.
Really.
Yeah.
But, they're bragging on their expanding quickly. And I'm like, well, for what we're paying, you better well be.
Yeah, I mean, also, that is also one of the hangups. Yes, AT&T has towers everywhere, but you're paying for that service. I think it's one of the most expensive cell providers that we have. I mean, it's expensive.
Might be. But speaking of that, the McGonagals, of course, took their little trip to San Diego to see their son graduate from the U.S. Marine Corps boot camp. And just in time for their trip, Troy and Jennifer got brand new Nokia Lumia 920s. So they took some great pictures. Of course, I had to show them, especially Jennifer, how to really maximize. There's a lot of features you have in the camera that you can really take advantage of. Some of the shots, when you're out there on the coast, you have some great potential shots. I'm like, not knowing how to properly frame it and do all these. I'm like, bring out the inner photographer in you. You have a great camera. Learn how to take pictures. But their video was great, and they were just really, really surprised that we were watching it because these have the Play 2 feature, DLNA. So when they came over, we had a little dinner party kind of thing. So we just had them play it to our TV set, and in high def, looked great. The sound was awesome. You could hear. He said, Troy was saying, I can hear better what was going on via the phone than what I could when I was standing right there, and the guy had a microphone on.
Wow.
With all the stuff going on, the wind, everything, he said the microphones on this camera, which are considerably impressive, recorded what was going on better. So he's like, I wondered what he was saying there. And so it was pretty impressive. And noticed HTC got busted for stealing their microphone tech.
I saw when you posted that.
I was like, what? Come on. So they got to go. So anyway, and then our bass player in our praise and worship team, he got a white one.
Oh, really?
And his son, who's a guitarist on our youth team, he got a red one. I was so jealous because I was like, oh, they didn't have the red one when I
posted something about that. What did I tell you? Something about the crayon colors.
Oh, right. You mark my words. iPhone will come out with multiple colors.
Well, they already did. They
just have the black and the white.
No, well, the phones, but their fourth gen or fifth generation iPods are coming out with those weird, Easter colors.
I think the colors on the iPods look great. As a matter of fact, those kind of look like the Lumias. I was like,
okay, well, on the new iPods, there's a green one. There's like a
they look
fuchsia
great.
one. Yeah,
they look great.
I think they look cool.
But I think they should do something like that.
With their phones?
Yeah. I think, I think that if all other things being equal, that pizzazz and style were the one thing that people were sitting on the fence on making a choice, and they'd rather stay with the iPhone, and color would make the difference, why not? Yeah. It's not that difficult to do. Especially, you got an opportunity, especially if they're going to go, if they are doing the rumored less expensive one. That's a perfect opportunity to do that.
I read somewhere it was on Apple Shareholder, I think it was. Something like that.
Yeah.
That they are actually, I think they're going to scrap the cheaper version.
What?
Idea. Yeah.
I think that's a mistake.
I think
if they want to hold on to if they don't want to watch their market share slip, and if they want to make actually a shot at digging into Samsung, I think they're going to have to do it.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to focus and hopefully just rely on the new products that they're going to push out to push them back up. I don't know.
It's a gamble.
But we'll see.
I think the market is changing. I mean, a number of the a number of the polls and surveys are done right now. The youth are looking for something different. The youths are looking for something different. And actually, the Windows phones, especially the Nokias, that is the cool factor is coming up on those. And matter of fact, I saw something on, was it CNN? I think it was on CNN where a number of analysts they were talking about the stocks for Apple, and they said that Apple isn't. It's still a force to be reckoned with. They said making making only several billion as opposed to a gazillion $billion still means you're making insane amounts of money. Right?
I mean, they only have like $85 billion.
Yeah.
Just
cash on hand.
Cash on hand.
Right.
I mean, that's not like.
But they said its cool factor is started to wear thin, partially because they've stuck with the same iOS with very little changes there. So I think they're gonna have to they're gonna have to do something.
I think they would get a lot better if they would. You see, the thing is like you got to pay for the phone. You got to pay for the device.
They have the highest margin for their phones of anybody
else. I mean,
I think Samsung has the smallest.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, like, for example, Nokia, you go in there, you want to buy one, they give you like 6 free. So, I mean, you can get one to your family, your cousins, and everybody else.
Do not.
But for here, you got to pay, $199, $299, or $399, depending on the amount of gigs you want.
Unless you're with T-Mobile.
Oh, that's right.
You buy it outright, or you could go on a separate
you go on that
plan.
Payment plan. You pay your... Man, you're going to end up paying full price for that baby. Ultimately, the phone that's, I think, $299, which is the 32 gig iPhone 5...
I don't know why you would have anything less than 32 anyway.
It's going to cost you like $400.
Yeah.
So if you take that payment plan. So please, guys, read the fine print.
Yep.
I think you're only paying an extra $20 on your contract. And, of course, if you renege on your contract or...
You're still paying for the phone.
I mean, I'm sorry. There's not a contract. It's an agreement.
Yeah.
You're agreeing to pay $20 extra for your phone plan. But if you decide, okay, well, I'm not on a contract, I'm just going to cancel it.
You still are going to pay for the phone.
Yeah, because it's going to go on your credit report. So,
ouch. Yeah, as a matter of fact, at our youth service Wednesday, we're doing this game that I actually introduced to the group from when I was in high school, and they just love this game. It's called Beat the Fruit.
Beat the Fruit.
Yeah. And then we finished the game, and then we were kind of going around the topic that night, and most everybody's got their Bible on a smartphone now. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Noah, our guitar player, we both whip out our Windows phones, and we happen to both be using the same Bible app, which I'll throw in a shameless plug for Pocket Bible by Luridian. It's on all platforms, Android, iPhone, and Windows Phone. It's an awesome app. As a matter of fact, I've been beta testing all 3 versions for Windows Phone 7.8, for 8, and for Windows 8. Wow. And the version 2, because the version 1 is already out, but we're already working on version 2. Version 2 adds the speech capability, meaning you can have it read whatever translation.
Wow!
Like that puts them in YouVersion for those who are Bible aficionados. A lot of people like YouVersion because it's kind of web-based, pseudo web-based, and it can read some of the translations. Like that was the feature that was missing. I used Pocket Bible back when I had my old Windows Mobile devices. So anyway, shameless plug for that. So we were whipping that out. We were pulling up some scripture, and one of the new girls in the group, she pulls out a Samsung Focus. I was like, your cool factor just went up. I think we were the first one she'd seen with, besides her, that had a Windows phone.
Yeah.
So so anyway, largely due to, as Samsung is synonymous with Android, pretty much they own Android the market. Nokia pretty much owns the Windows Phone market. Yeah. And so Windows Phone is now solidly in 3rd place. They've been making gains for almost a year solid now. They're now at 5.6%, which is higher than anybody thought they would be.
Just wait till BlackBerry gets speed again.
Please, they're dropping dramatically. They're now down, and that's after the Z10 got released. They're now down to 0.9% of the market.
You see, it was just a little too late. I agree. People still love the Blackberries, but they're so used to the full keyboard.
Yes.
They went on a touch keyboard, and they're not liking it. So they want that operating system on a BlackBerry device.
You're right.
That's a BlackBerry with the full keyboard. And I've been reading, and I kind of just took this upon myself. I was like, hey, what kind of phone do you have? I was asking people. They're at school.
Tons of iPhones.
Yeah, iPhones are crazy.
Yeah.
iPhones and Galaxy S3s.
Yeah.
And then the occasional, I ran into some that still have Blackberries.
Yeah.
But they're on Cricket. They're the Cricket models. And I was asking them, hey, you know, if you had a chance to get a phone, Z10? What would you get? And they were like, they want to wait. They were like, no, I like my BlackBerry. They don't want they don't want an Apple phone. They don't want a Nokia. They like their BlackBerries. So I guess there's still fans out there of that stuff.
Yeah, they're going to be. They're just, you know, with 0.9%, and still.
Yeah, they got some ground. They got some ground to make up.
It's not impossible, but golly.
It's going to take a while.
Shifting gears just a little bit, but sticking actually with the Microsoft ecosystem. Yeah, right. Xbox.
Oh, the new
big
Xbox.
Reveal, 21 May.
Yep.
Now, did you say you have an Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay, and which version is it? Fairly one.
It's the newest one.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, one of the newer ones.
Now, did that have the what size hard drive did that have with it?
This one has a 5 something, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course, tons of rumors on the new Xbox, but basically they're saying it's going to be Windows 8 Core, but they're still going to release another version based on the current Xbox.
Oh, wow.
Which is amazing. I guess they see still some life in that, but this thing is supposed to have 8 cores, 2 4-core modules. Each core will have independent hardware threads. So that tells me they're going to be able to plug a number of hardware pieces onto and let it be juggled. That's some interesting multimedia possibilities there. Custom GPU with 12 shader cores, so we should get some spectacular graphics out of that puppy. 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory, Connect 2.0. It will have a hard drive. I haven't seen what size. Blu-ray, which is something that's been a long time coming.
I remember when they first came out, they had the HD, what is it, where they played the HD video, but unfortunately, our boys in the adult entertainment system didn't like that.
Yeah.
So they went Blu-ray.
Dun, dun, dun.
You know, and that's kind of weird. We talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
You know, but and you know, that's another thing too. Since Blu-ray is out there, I wish more like computers and laptops came standard with that.
Yes, absolutely right.
You know, I hate. You know,
that should be standard now.
I have a lot of Blu-rays, and I have to go.
We do too. We have an entire center console.
Yeah, and I have to go to the TV to watch it. But sometimes, you know, my boys are watching TV, and I have to wait.
Yeah.
To watch it because
it'd be nice if you just stick it in the.
Yeah, I can go to my office and just put it on, and there you go. Luckily, my laptop has an HDMI.
Yes.
So what I did.
Most of them do now.
Yeah. So what I want to try is I want to get I have my Blu-ray player, like my VCR type Blu-ray player. I want to connect it, and I want to see if it'll play.
But aren't the ones in laptops typically HDMI out only?
I don't know. Is it?
Well, speaking of that, the Xbox, I think it's out only typically.
Wow, I'm gonna have to try it.
Interestingly, on the new Xbox, it's supposed to have HDMI out and in. Number of us are speculating, does that mean it's going to have DVR capability added to it? Maybe not initially, but can you imagine? You no longer need an actual DVR player as part of your dish or direct or cable TV service. You can just have an Xbox, and it can be HDMI from your box, set-top box. But it's also supposed to have TV cable capability and USB 3, Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi Direct. So they're making this into gigabit Ethernet. So this thing is going to be the nexus for a lot of people's multimedia. This will be probably the first time, especially if the Connect 2.0 does what I think it's going to be capable of doing. This may be the first time I get a console.
Wow.
And I'll probably rarely play any kind of games on it. I'll be using it as more of a multimedia hub for the house.
And yeah, I mean, it looks like that's where they're going with it. I mean, they're awesome. Packing this baby with everything. I'm kind of.
Are you going to upgrade?
Well, Sony is coming out with their PlayStation.
Yeah, PS4.
I'm kind of curious to see what kind of things that's going to have on it.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Xbox has owned the market for so long.
Yeah. You know,
I just can't see.
I just had a vision. You know, it's kind of like the Umbrella Corporation. Pretty soon, you're gonna see Microsoft
Resident
products.
Evil.
Microsoft products were in 90% of households.
Resident Evil. I've got a new Microsoft refrigerator.
Yeah, I got Microsoft Water. It's enhanced.
Yes,
it's enhanced with
nanomites.
Yeah, you know, it just eats away like colds and everything.
Nice.
Just drink it and you'll feel better.
I'm a lucky guy. I'm a lucky guy. I'm a lucky guy.
You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can. You really can't. You really can't. Intel is finally going to. Matter of fact, they started a little countdown clock for the availability of their Haswell chip.
Ooh.
It is supposed to have. It's boasting a battery life of 10 hours.
Wow.
If it's got that, you just be ready for all the new tablets, all the new laptops. Their hybrids are going to be coming out with Haswell. And that's what I said. I said, because the battery life sucks so bad on the Surface, if I want to get a Surface, I'm going to wait till a version 2 comes out running the Haswell chip, because I just cannot have battery life that bad. I really can't.
Horrible.
Not for a tablet. Not for a tablet. For this, I deal with, if I push it hard, 2 hours and it's gone. And it's a brand new battery.
Wow.
I'll eat it up. If I'm just doing light stuff, I can get 4.5, 5 hours out of it. But for a tablet, that's just not acceptable. I'm sorry. Just not acceptable. So that's coming out June 3rd.
8 hours on my iPad.
That's right. See, that's what I said. Surface, which is surprisingly doing well, despite the problems obviously that has. I said it's not going to touch iPad at all till they can get closer to that 9 or 10 hour frame. That's it. That's just all there is to it. So we're in a new year, coming into the new dive season. I submitted my paperwork for renewing my operating a business. Yeah. Well, operating a business on Lake Amistad. So I'm waiting for.
Did they drop the price since the water's
dropping?
No,
actually, it went up. Here's the thing. This was the interesting stuff, and I'm not slamming the Park Service folks here. I'm just saying it's a government entity, and as with most government entities, they have broken processes. When the first couple of years, it was like $350. There was like two different fees. There was an application fee, and then just to be considered, and then the actual permit. And so I was paying like $350 every year for 2 years. Then they kind of had a change of regime there, and it was kind of they weren't sure about the process. And so it ended up costing me $25 just to renew. I said, well, you've already done all this stuff. You're just renewing. So it was $25. I'm like, oh, wow. Are you sure? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So they kindly sent me, we're just letting you know your permit expires this month, and here's your forms and all the stuff and what you need to have. And okay, that stuff was standard. But it's $25 just for the application to renew, and then the actual permit renewal is $50. So now it's basically costing me $75 which is still less than the $350, but
right.
I'm like, oh, come on, fix the processes so I can be consistent. I'd like to just plug it into my calendar, knowing $75 or $50 or whatever it is, $75 on this date that I need to. That's my thing, because I put everything in my calendar. My whole life is in my calendar. I have my calendar. I have the club calendar, and then I have our family calendar. So we share if there's something that Tara and I both need to be aware of. I put that in there, so it's very easy to keep track of everything. So just being able to plug that information is just really helpful. Let's see, new dive tech. There's a new LED underwater communication device developed in Japan. Let's see, what's the name of the company? Okinawa Prefecture, whatever that is, will allow divers to talk to each other through the use of a special dive mask and a light-emitting diode flashlight. I'm like, okay. I was trying to get the visual on this because I couldn't find any pictures of it. When one diver speaks into the mask, the speech is converted by the flashlight into a series of blinking LED lights that transmit to the other mask, which are then converted back to speech that the other diver hears through embedded speakers. The system is called iMajun. I don't know. It's a result of 6 years of development with Marine Comms Ryukyu. I don't know how you pronounce that stuff. And will retail for a smart $2,500. I'm like, wait a minute. So it's a light that blinks. So obviously you would have to be looking at the person in order for your light to be carried through and be picked up.
Well, have they tested this in only salt water?
6 years. Well, I mean, it says 6 years of development.
Because if you try to do that in salty water, like where we dive, there's going to be obstruction.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was like, what? I think I'd rather spend about $1,000 and get the systems that we've talked about before.
Yeah, right.
You know, full face mask and just like you see in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Much more.
Sanctum.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Let's see. American Diving out of South Padre, a place that we've been trying to get a dive going with. They've got a Memorial Day weekend special deep blue water production platform called Little Atom. They've got a 3-tank dive with breakfast, lunch, beverages, and snacks, $250 per person. And then they also have a Texas Clipper 2-tank dive, similar setup with the breakfast, lunch, beverages, and all that stuff. $175 per person.
That's not bad.
So for those of you in South Texas who plan on making a dive, and it's one of those cases where these sell out fast at that price, so you need to call them quickly. So you can call American Diving at 956-761-2030. That number again, 956-761-2030. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Some other new stuff, and I've been really curious, but not enough to spend the money to do so. I've been curious about the whole rebreather thing, especially after Sanctum.
Yeah.
Hollis, of course, who is a long time. I mean, they're about as old as Aqualung, but they're a known entity in the rebreather business. They have been working with PADI, IANTD, and TDI. Certifying agencies to develop programs for their new closed-circuit rebreather system, the Hollis Explorer. I'm going to bring up the website here. Screen region. Here we go. This is a gorgeous looking. I mean, this really looks cool. And very. I mean, it's beautiful design, so you don't look clunky. And they brag that it is the easiest. It's self-adjusting. It's a nitrox setup.
Oh wow!
And they say it is the easiest one. It's got plug-and-play cartridges for scrubbing the system.
Right.
Let me bring up the video.
It looks nice considering it's not squared like your typical rebreathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me bring up.
Looks like he's an astronaut.
Yeah, no kidding.
The frog kick.
That's it. Good. I was doing a lot of that today. I love the look of that rig. No bubbles.
No bubbles.
Great music, too. See the cave line there. Hollis, no limits. All right. So, great looking setup there. That just is impressive.
What is the price on that?
Did I get a price on that? I think I saw one website having an estimate. It's like $3,500 or something like that.
That's not bad.
Well, I'm just not ready. I mean, I guess you're going to pay for the name and you're going to pay for having something that easy to maintain. But I'm not ready to plunk. I'll plunk down $1,000 for a communication system before I plunk down $3,500 to get trained on and use a rebreather system. I don't see myself running into a situation like the guys in Sanctum.
Mm-mm.
That would be bad.
Well, I mean, really for rebreathers it's because they're good for cave diving and technical diving.
Absolutely.
We don't do that here.
No, we don't. We have opportunities, but we don't. Okay, speaking of new and improved, got the new camera. Dun, dun, dun.
Man, you're not going to have weights on, Rob.
This is the new SeaLife DC1400 Duo Pro that you've heard us talking about a number of times here.
It's Christmas on the show.
It is Christmas on the show. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Until it's new. There we go. Check that out. Love the piano key setup. The other side. This makes it so, I'm telling you, it is so easy to operate this camera underwater with those piano keys.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice setup. Come in. Well, that woke my dogs out. Beautiful, beautiful unit. Of course, it's got the ouch, sorry about that. It's got the strobe light, and then it's also got the video light, and it's easy to operate. There's see if I can show it here. There's just a single button on the back that's just multi-mode, and then the controls for the
flash
are very easy. Just slide it to on or to test or off. Easy to get to the batteries, but they all seal up nicely. It's designed to, these can both work with any underwater camera, but they're definitely optimized for function with the SeaLife cameras.
Right. Because
there's certain modes that are automatic because of the way it talks to the camera. And there's a cord that runs along the spine here and then connects to this device right here, which actually covers up the built-in flash on the camera. So it transmits the information to the strobe. Operation of the light is easy. Just push the, I don't want to blind the, there we go. And that's got to 50% to 25%. And then just hold down for 2 seconds and out it goes.
Yep.
And neat thing is, it's detachable. So I can aim the light for video, get the lighting that I want for something, or even hand it to a dive buddy.
Right.
Say, okay, I want you to light that for me while I take the video. Very nice. And easy to open up. The camera is really small. Okay, let me go ahead and... Yikes. As you can see, the camera is very small itself. Switch to my camera, there we go. See? Front of it.
It kind of looks like my Samsung camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Samsung makes so many things as OEM for other people. Wouldn't surprise me if it turns out that...
I'm serious. That looks exactly like my Samsung camera.
It wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't, if it's not made by them. And very easy to operate, easy zoom control. Well, I'm just doing a number on my...
Did you get the wide angle?
No. The
Lens?
wide angle lens for
Yeah.
it? No, but the neat thing is I could add that if I want. You know, and one of the beautiful things, and I didn't even know this about it, it has an easy setup mode where you just basically walk through steps. You say, are you taking pictures on land or underwater? And so it sets up some presets based on that. one of the presets for underwater, you can tell it if you're diving in like snorkeling where you're less than 25 feet or more than 25 feet. And what it does is it tints the color towards red, as if you put a red filter on there when you're diving, and you lose the red spectrum as you go down. And people will typically put a red filter of varying degrees of strength on their camera to bring that back, to balance that back out. It does it automatically if you're choosing to not use the strobe or the video light. So it will tint it towards the red. It's a lot less of a significant red if you choose the shallower than 25 feet. More significant red when you do below 70 or 25
Yeah, when
feet.
you drop down.
Yeah. But obviously, if you tell it you can tell it, I'm diving, and, oh, by the way, I'm not using either the strobe or the video light, or I'm using the strobe, or I'm using the video light, or I'm using both. It actually gives you pictures that it's so easy to set up.
Cool.
And so I actually took it out. Let me turn this off. I took it out today. Went out to San Felipe Creek, and these are some of the pictures and video I took with the camera. 14 megapixel still shot HD video. It's a beautiful shot. You can recognize this.
Yep. Now, was that inside the case? Or
Yes.
outside? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Surprisingly. So you go to the next picture here. Yeah, visibility out there was not very good today. A lot of kids playing out there. Okay, these are some of the still shots underwater.
Nice.
Looks much better than my old camera.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of toyed with doing stuff with the flash, without the flash, because, being in only about 8 feet of water, you still had plenty of light. You can see a little fish off in the background here, one of those sucker fish.
That looks cool.
I know. It's just really good.
Yeah.
Takes some good shots. It's trying with the flash,
With the
which
flash.
reflected brightly off of the stone there. Came up on the surface and just taking a shot. That's with the flash, so it brings the color out. Almost washes it out. I gotta be careful about that. Still playing with the aiming to get the right reflectivity and all that good stuff. I can just imagine going down deep. Ugh.
I can imagine that in Balmaray.
Now this is without the flash.
Yeah, because, there's plenty of light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's not even as green as it was down there because of all the stuff that was hanging in the water. The colorization actually was better than I thought it was going to be. All the stuff that's down there at San Felipe Creek.
Yep.
I was trying to get a good shot of this. It's a little crawfish. Actually, it wasn't little. It was actually pretty good size. That was eaten size, actually, right there. That was definitely freshwater lobster. It's like, come here. I'm hungry.
And given you can still kind of see the orange in it.
Right.
So it looks good.
Yeah, it was just too bright given the settings. There we go. Got a little closer to it. And I think I tried one without the flash. There we go. I'm finding, though, as I started to play with it, I'm finding that, at least in this kind of water, this shallow, using the video light actually tends to work better. It's not as harsh, and I can aim it the way I want to. But this just really takes some great... Look at it. He's like, get away from me. Beautiful.
Clean photos.
Yes. I mean, look at that. Very, very pleased. I was trying to get this fish that he was kind of spying on me, but from a distance. And then just trying to get some different shots of the plant life. Yeah, definitely bright. Got to learn how to adjust that. There we go. I forgot to switch to macro focus mode. I got right up on that puppy. I think this was with the video light. There was this one kind of fish that was hanging around. I couldn't. At first, I thought it looked like an angelfish. I was like, man, this is huge. And again, I was trying to get a macro shot, and I forgot to switch it to. There we go. I'm like, that wasn't what I was expected to see underwater. This is seriously buried. I don't know what this is. I mean, it's a rail of some sort. But, I mean, this is like solidly down there. This would be one of those things that I don't even know that if we hooked a chain around this.
Really?
That we could pull this up. This is by the tennis court, a little bit it's just past the tennis courts towards the dam.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I reached down, I tried to grab it. I mean, it did not budge at all. It was almost like it was built there. I mean, that thing was, was a handrail of some type. And then I found a tire.
Yeah, well, that's typical. I was going to say, where are the tires? There you go.
Yep, I got a tire. And then I found this. I'm cruising along. Just shows if you just take it low and slow, what you find. This was staring up at me, and I saw Ford through it. I got a better shot of it there. I was like, tell me somebody didn't stick their keys in a plastic bag and then somehow get it lost in the... And sure enough.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact... If there's anybody looking for this set of keys, obviously it's a chick, because I don't know any guys that would have this.
Oh.
But it's some sort of Ford. I'm guessing this is probably a house key.
Man, that's an old key. The Ford, the alarm one.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if there's a way of finding out who this belongs to.
I'm pretty sure there's a code inside of it.
Probably. But, yeah, found these in that plastic bag you saw in that picture. So, if you happen to know somebody who was missing some keys for a while here, I found them. We find all sorts of stuff while we're diving. So, I also have one of the videos that I took. So, let me put that up. I love being able to see it this big. I just love being able to see it this big.
Looks good.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are millions of those things down there.
Uh-huh.
The audio is much cleaner, too.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear me adjusting the light. Man, look how crisp that is. I had the light on. I was trying to aim it correctly. Yeah, that's pretty much how the visibility was the whole time down there.
Nice.
Man.
This thing's gonna be awesome in Balmoral.
Oh yeah, don't you know that? We're gonna get some great video of that.
Yeah.
Man. By the way, I'm noticing even though I'm putting all this on there, 720 video and everything, system isn't burping at all.
Nope.
It looks great on the. We're watching on the side screen here. What y'all are seeing. Looks like it's streaming just fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, lots of those things.
They're all over there.
No kidding. No, I thought that was kind of neat. I was like, oh, I'm in a kelp field. Lots of algae. Lots of algae. I mean, that stuff's like cotton candy down there, all that bright green. You get that on you, it's like it attaches to you like a beard.
Mm-hmm. Feels nasty when you're wearing a shorty and you're swimming through that.
Oh, yeah.
On your legs. Oh, it's horrible.
Let me tell you, I finished the dive and I was just about to get out, and this little kid comes over. Hey, mister, can you go get my ball? It's over there on the other side. So I swam across. I was on the surface. I swam across, and where this stupid ball was actually on a mud bank.
Ooh.
So I ended up literally wallowing across the mud bank. And, if I tried to, like, step up or anything, it just, like, sucked me into the mud. It would, like, I'm like, am I going to get stuck here? I can't get out. I couldn't move my legs. Finally got the ball, tossed it to him. I'm like, what? I tossed it over my head because I couldn't turn around very fast because I was mired in that clay. And, then they would like swim around it, and I'm like, grab it. And then the wind blew it back over to me. I'm like, grab the ball. I came over here and got it for you. And then, of course, finally they get it and they take off with it. What? No, thank you? I'm like, you kids today. Do something nice for you. Man, it's just some great video.
Looks good.
It does. I'm really pleased with it. Where am I at here? All the little bubbles and everything. All I need is Lloyd Bridges narrating.
Right.
There it was, huh? Looking for a new testing ground for some Navy equipment I was working on, huh? Beautiful. Look at those. Just sitting there. And they're off. Lots of detail in the particulates. Awesome. So, yeah, I'm very, very pleased with this camera. I think we're going to get some great footage, great mileage out of it. Mm-hmm. We're already planning our semi-annual or biannual. It works out. It should be annual, but it always works out, I think, every other year we go on a dive trip. We're already planning our trip this year. I think we're going to go to Grand Cayman. So, because we can get flights there, since we're losing our we're losing service here in Del Rio.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, bummer. It's just so difficult to get flights anywhere else. But we definitely want to do Cayman. That was Tara's first saltwater dive, so we only did the 2 dives there. So we get a chance to spend a week down there. It'd be great. Yeah. So we're planning for that. Well, that pretty much runs us down to the end here. Let's do a little quick administrivia. So, next Del Rio Dive Club meeting is 16th May at 7 o'clock at Rudy's Restaurant. We'd like to see you there. And then our Ballamar Balmoral State Park trips, May 17th through the 19th, June 14th through the 16th, July 19th through the 21st, and August 16th through the 18th. And water in the lake permitting, we have our open water scuba. We have our, it may be just a dirt walk, but basic open water scuba classes, May 23rd through the 26th, June 27th through the 30th, July 24th through the 28th, August 22nd through the 25th, and September 26th through the 29th. And if you'd like to get in contact with us, you can definitely catch us on Facebook /Del Rio Dive Club, or send us, connect to us through Skype via Two Guys Who Dive. Or once we get the website back up and running, you can definitely check us out on DelRioDiveClub.com. And if you would like to make your conversations more personal, you can send an email to Scuba Bob here at rsgarza821@yahoo.com, or follow him.
Please.
Follow him. I implore you, follow Scuba Bob on Twitter at rsgarza435.
If at the very least, you'll hear me going back and forth with Rob.
That's right. That is worth at least the price of admission.
It is.
Which is free. So... And, of course, you could send me an email to robert.wade@setifox.net, or follow me on Twitter at robertcfp. I've had people ask me, what is the CFP? SETI Fox Productions. If you watch to the very end credits, you'll see our little tag for the production company here, because I do, of course, the podcast, and I do music production and stuff for stage, theater, all that stuff. So... So that pretty much covers it. Glad to have you back this week. I thought we were going to have Troy with us, but he was stuck doing landscaping there at the apartments.
Well, I totally feel that over the weekend, towards the end of the weekend of last week, I started having plumbing problems at the house. So I had to bring up
yikes.
The whole call the city. They showed up and.
Did they dig you a new trench like they've done just about everybody else around here?
No, actually, they were saying that the problem was within my property line and not the street, and I had always had problems in the street. They didn't want to dig it up until...
Of course.
So they did their camera in the sewer pipe and all this other stuff. And
it's kind of like getting one of the cameras.
Yeah. So, but...
Colonoscopy. There.
Yeah, they were like... So what I did was I took it upon myself and dug up from the whole sewer line in my property up to where it connects to the main in the street.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's been very trying for me. And then finally they were like, it was where it connects from my property into the street was right in the middle. It's not. So I told them, well, if I fix it, I actually have to be in the street to fix it.
Yeah,
you're still gonna have to tear up the street so that I can get to it properly.
Right.
Well, they ended up, I got home and they did it themselves. I filled out the paperwork and they said, okay, we're going to do it. When I got there, they fixed it for me. But this time I did see where the connection is no longer right in the middle. It's now in my property line. So it's like, if it fails, it's going to fail inside your property. Yeah, it's going to be on me now. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the sewage system in this town is definitely border mentality.
However, me digging up the actual sewer line in my property line, I did find some problems.
Really? What kind?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I guess the way whenever they did do the lines, they didn't do them properly. So I have some reverse flow. They didn't do it right.
In other words, it's not slanted the correct way all the way.
It's not slanted. It comes down a little bit on certain parts. So one of my old teacher friends, he did this. He does that. He retired and he's still doing it on the side. I contacted him and he was like, yeah, I'll help you do it. So I just need to buy the material and he's going to help me do it hopefully sometime this coming week.
Yeah, cool.
So get that done, cut out the old pipe, redo with new one with the proper slant.
Yep.
And then pack that baby down, and I hope I don't have any more problems.
Expensive?
Not really. The material itself is probably going to cost me about $50 worth of material.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
What about the work, though?
Well, the work I'm doing myself. He's just going to kind of tell me how to do it.
Okay.
So, and I'm looking forward to it because this way I'm learning a new trick.
Yeah, that's kind of like me. You know, the whole renovations we've done here, I've had other people come in to help, and then I learn how they did it, and then I'm able to do, for the most part, myself. The tile in here did ourselves, the kitchen, the bathrooms. Yeah. Left the rest of the house for professionals because it took me a week. I took off of work for a week to do. Yeah,
you know, small projects. Okay, bigger projects, you're like, no, leave that to the pros.
That's right. My time is worth something. It's worth me paying somebody else to do it.
Exactly.
But, I didn't tell you, I ran into, last week, Tara and I went to Chili's to eat lunch. I think it was after church. Or maybe it was dinner. Ran into our buddy, the engineer diver, the one who wanted only the full face mask.
Oh, yeah. Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah,
Jacques.
Yeah, ran into him. He was there having dinner with his family, and he was doing fine. Hadn't been diving for a while.
No?
The whole deal. Gotta let me know.
Yeah. Well, the whole deal behind him wanting to get a cert was because he was going to be doing some underwater welding. Yeah, some commercial diving. But, you know.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Diving makes you a diver. That's all I got to say. Diving makes you a diver.
That's Jacques Cousteau, folks.
That's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of another episode, and we love doing the show. We have a great time doing it, and we love the comments and questions, suggestions, and all that good stuff. And hope you continue to join us on our little journey as we share our adventures in diving and other stuff that we like.
Right. With summer coming around, you'll probably definitely hear us talking more about diving. Because we'll actually be doing some diving,
especially since we'll have a great camera for taking pictures and videos and stuff.
We'll be able to go ahead and document our excursions.
Absolutely.
So we'll be looking forward to sharing those with you.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe you can be a part of them.
We'd love to have you there.
Yeah.
You know, just check us out. Come by one of the dive club meetings, and we'll be happy to talk with you. You know, I'd love to do another one of those little. Discover Scuba, and then also I'd love to do another one of those little career fair.
Right. I'm gonna see if we can do that. I haven't heard about the. I haven't heard if they're gonna do another one. We missed the city cleanup because nobody told us about it
till the last second.
But you know that's just local government. What can we say?
Yep.
But, come out and visit with us. Obviously, we love talking. So we'd like to talk to you.
That's right. We'd love to hear from you talk. Yeah, that's right. So until next week, we're signing off, and we'll see you on the next week on another episode of Two Guys Who Dive. See ya.